Last time on Jacob the Night Guard Super Show. I am super close to finishing the Fazbear Frights books, and I have just gotten to the Pizza Kit story. Yep, I finished the story. And God, did it massively disappoint me. Now, here's some context for myself. The Frights books and I have a tricky relationship. To me, the more bizarre they are, the better. Like in the story, Hide and Seek, Toby getting more and more terrified of Rick Fafaska after it attaches itself to his back and proceeds to go crazy, thinking of ways to remove it. Or in another one of the stories, The Cliffs, where Robert, a single father who is still grieving over his wife's death, is encouraged to kill himself by a Freddy plush. Those two are examples of very bizarre premises where the story does it right. However, for Pizza Kit, the basic premise is Peyton goes on a trip with her best friend Marley to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Kit factory, who is then assumed to have been boiled alive by falling into a massive pizza sauce vat. And the next day at school, Peyton gets her pizza kit back from Freddy's and receives the one most likely made out of her friend's flesh, and she has to make a difficult choice. Now, that is a fantastic premise. A little weird considering, child cannibalism, but this is the Fazbear Frights stories, where we get graphic child murder on a daily basis. Like in the story Gumdrop Angel, where the main character, Angel, gets turned into a candy girl and feels a group of toddlers eating her alive. But sadly, Pizza Kit can't follow through. Here's a quick summary. Peyton, a young high school girl, goes on a field trip with her best friend Marley to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Kit factory. Eventually, Marley gets bored and tells Peyton to follow her up the stairs and explore the catwalks. Peyton is a bit reluctant due to her fear of heights, but Marley always knows how to get Peyton to do whatever she wants. Marley notices Peyton being a bit nervous and laughs as she teases her about it. The sign says, "Don't run," so Marley runs on one side of the catwalk to the other. A sign says, "Don't jump," so Marley starts doing hard jumping jacks. A sign says, "Don't lean on the handrails," so, like she would, Marley presses herself hard against them. And just like you'd expect, the catwalks break. Peyton is able to get to safety, but watches Marley fall, disappearing with only a scream into the massive clouds of steam from the huge pizza sauce vats under them. Peyton runs to rejoin her class, who, luckily, thanks to all of them being given earplugs to wear to help with the factory's loud machines, her class is none the wiser of Marley's possible demise. Eventually, on the bus to go back to the school, the home ec teacher, Miss Crutchfield, is doing a head count, and Peyton says Marley possibly got bored and went home. The teacher is a bit suspicious of the girl, but lets her off the hook for now. Pause. Now this is where the story really hooked me. I was doing a similar thing to one of my top 5 favorite Fright stories, The New Kid, where a kid named Kelsey gets spring-locked inside of Golden Freddy during the beginning of the story, and the rest of it is all about our protagonists, Devin and Mick, processing their murder. So while I was reading, I got so excited that premise was being reused again. Honestly, sure, Peyton is innocent 100% in this situation, but she's like a 14-year-old girl. Say you and a friend went to a very dangerous part of a building that was closed off for visitors. Your friend then gets himself killed and you're the only witness. I know I would be terrified of being blamed for it, so I feel Peyton's struggle later on in the book makes perfect sense. Now, back to the summary. When she gets home, Peyton's mom asks if she knows where Marley is, saying Marley's mom kept calling her today, asking if she knows where her daughter was. As she never came home, Peyton lies and says she doesn't know. After Peyton's mom herself asks about where Marley is, she starts getting nervous that she might accidentally tell the wrong story. Peyton then ends the night in tears, now finally alone to herself to expel her emotions she's had to bottle up all day. The emotions of watching her best friend accidentally kill herself. That night, she had a strange nightmare, where she is in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Kit factory. Looking for her group, she comes across a cauldron and watches as Freddy Fazbear takes out all sorts of human limbs and dumps them inside of his cauldron. Finally, when Freddy pulls out a human head, he turns and reveals it's Marley's. The next day, rumors about Marley's disappearance is starting to fester. One of them being she probably ran off to her boyfriend's. But that is simply a throwaway line, so that shouldn't matter, right? Eventually, near the end of the day, Peyton is called into the principal's office, where she sees her mother, but also a police officer. Peyton is scared. She'll give the officer the wrong story in her panic. Luckily for her, he just wants to get a clear statement and some answers to the last person who saw Marley. She's able to go back to class, but with one last word from her mother.
Oh, Peyton, I think you'll see your friend again very soon.
And with what is implied to happen next, this line is very morbid. Peyton goes to her home ec class, where the pizza kits her class ordered during the field trip have been delivered. Once Peyton takes hers, and after a quick trip to the microwave, she opens up the box and sees the pizza looks rather strange. The sauce looks like it's been formed out of a much deeper red. The shape of the pepperoni looks just wrong, and its smell makes her feel uneasy. Peyton gets nervous and sees all her classmates eating their respective pizzas. She thinks that if she doesn't eat hers, it'll look suspicious. She takes a deep breath and, with a lot of thought beforehand, shoves a slice of the pizza down her mouth. As she begins to consume and swears after this pizza, she will become a vegetarian. Now pause. Marley was never 100% confirmed to have been made into the pizza, just heavily implied with Peyton's extreme levels of stress, making the pizza more dramatic. Now, if the story ended here, this would have been one of the best stories in all of Fazbear Frights. Cause yes, the subject matter is disgusting and very morbid, but when I was logged in to my Audible, listening to the story being described to me, my gosh, I was so invested. Near the end of the story, I was on a Discord call with some friends while I listened to it, and they were hearing me scream when Peyton took that first bite. Here, have some proof.
Hey, it's me, Barry. I was in VC with him while I was listening to it, and yeah, I can testify. He was very interested whether or not the kid was going to eat the pizza or not.
Now, back to the summary. Unpause. Peyton scarfs down the pizza, struggling to continue with every bite, feeling as if she is swallowing a rock with every slice she consumes, but she is able to finish. Peyton goes home and has another horrific nightmare about Marley trying to crawl out of her stomach like a tapeworm, but she is able to wake up and feels a massive ache in her stomach. She runs to the backyard and throws up everything that she ate that day and goes back to her bedroom. Later that night, she hears the doorbell ring. Peyton, after her nightmare of Marley seeking revenge for her eating her, she is not thinking straight, and she thinks the creature ringing the doorbell is actually a Marley meat zombie seeking vengeance. So Peyton takes a trick out of Obi-Wan Kenobi's book and seeks the higher ground and begins to climb up the side of her house, making it to the roof. We then get probably one of the worst paragraphs in all of the Frights stories. I shall read it word for word from the text. Marley stood on the porch, waiting for the door to open. Being missing had been kind of fun. No school, no responsibilities, but hiding out in the pizza factory had started to get old. She missed her boyfriend, missed regular meals, and missed sleeping in her own bed. She had gone to see her boyfriend first, and now she's going to let Peyton know she was okay. Those visits were the first two phases of becoming unmissing. Then she would go back home for the required tearful reunion with her parents. Marley then rings the doorbell and spooks Peyton, causing her to slip and fall off the roof, snapping her neck right in front of Marley as she lands, as the book ends with a loud scream. Yeah, a loud scream, all right. My loud scream after I read this. So yeah, Marley wasn't ever actually dead. She did not fall into the vat of pizza sauce and later eaten by Peyton. She did not get hurt whatsoever after falling from a catwalk that was littered with danger signs to not fall from it like it was literally nothing, and just hid around the pizza kit factory for at least 4 days. Why? Just because she could. Now, yes, Marley was established to be a very ego-driven and all-about-me kind of character, but I feel this is a bit too far for her. The part that bothers me the most is they go out of their way to establish Marley does not like Freddy's. When Peyton said that she is excited about the field trip, Marley tells her off, saying that's for babies. While yes, she was given the earplugs from the tour guide, the machinery in that factory is still super loud. So who would want to be there overnight by choice? And I doubt it would be comfy. Marley makes fun of the tour guide's Chica hat, and she gets so bored, she just decides to go away from the tour and explore on her own. So Marley, the character, making the purposeful choice to spend at least 4 nights at Freddy's makes no sense to me at all.
Wait, what if she was injured and had to stay there overnight to heal?
Great counterpoint there, Stanley, but I simply reject your idea and substitute my own. If this high schooler, this 14-year-old girl, was able to just walk off basically a probably 20-foot fall on hard concrete, surrounded by dangerous loud machinery, and just get up after a couple days, I'm sorry, but that is just simply stupid.
Oh, come on, Jacob. You're saying you believe in 14 theory, Fazgu, David is the mimic, God victim, and sea bonnies, but a kid getting up from a bad fall, that is where you draw the line for believability? Next, you're gonna say something stupid like balloon god theory.
Stanley, I don't think you'll like one of my upcoming videos.
I was joking. Alright, Mr. Backseat Writer. Do you think you could even write something better?
Well, I am not a professional writer, but I have some writing experience. My idea on how to make this story just a little bit better all lies within the first act. I didn't cover much of it since I was only trying to cover the most important segments of the story. But we have a good amount of scenes with Peyton and her mother, and that helps characterizing Peyton greatly. So I think we should use Act 1 to really learn about Marley's home life as well. To make room, a good character we could cut would be this character named Abigail. She was Peyton's original best friend before she was dumped for Marley. Abigail was a kind, responsible young girl who loves books and refused to let high school force her to grow up, like it did for so many other kids. Now, I think she is a very great character for what little we see of her. However, if we cut her scenes and use the new page space for some exclusive Marley scenes, then I think the story would have been way better for it. We know her mother was worried sick about her, but what about her father? Or maybe an older sibling? How do they react to it? What if we get small sprinkles of hints that Marley has an abusive or neglectful home life? This small addition would make Marley running away from home at least a little bit more understandable for her character. It doesn't have to be important, just evidence for Marley's motivation to explain her later actions. Alright, video over. Time to be a true American and advertise. I have been allowed the honor to promote something very, very special and wonderful over on Narrow Raven's channel at 12 Central from March 21st to March 24th. Tons of your favorite creators are working together with the charity One More Night Against Cancer. You don't gotta donate to help fight the cause, and just sharing the word of the stream to a friend could do a lot as well. Cancer has been something that has greatly affected my family for decades. So the 5 Nights at Freddy's community coming together to help the One More Night Against Cancer charity means a lot to me. Link to the live stream will be in the description. Announcement time. My channel will be taking a small break for the rest of this month because I'm getting my wisdom teeth removed in a couple days. So I'll be unable to record for a bit. But once I am fully recovered, I'll be right back in full gear and try to do at least 1 video a week starting in April. My current goal for the channel is, let's say, 100 subs by the end of June. I feel that's fairly reasonable. And for my long-term goal, for now, let's say 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and fully acquire my very own Certificate of Insanity. And also special thanks to my best friend Barry and my mom for making little voices for me in this video. I appreciate it a lot. Alright, that's all for me for this week. See you guys later.